is good stuff, man. We don't want to miss this.
This is prime squirrel, man.
Yay.
Prime,
Welcome back, Jay.
Well, thank you.
Squirrel.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
I can't get where am I sitting? Oh my God. Okay.
I need to be further away.
There.
My head is too large.
If we were doing titles, this one would be Prime Squirrel.
The Squirrel Prime. Squirrelimus Prime.
Squirrelimus Prime. Why is that?
Because Jay just said it.
Oh.
What we drinking? Oh, LaCroix.
LaCroix.
Limoncello flavor is the best.
I have a Diet Sprite.
I have nothing, so I don't have to pee.
What? Oh.
Okay. That's reasonable.
Jay.
It's not as easy to hit mute anymore. Wow. Jay's office suddenly got a lot more yellow and porcelain-y.
What's that echo?
Well, first off, right off the bat, I want to thank Joe Biden.
Yeah.
For making it clear that U.S. citizens need F-15s and nuclear weapons.
And nukes, yes.
Yeah.
Covered under the Second Amendment.
Well, clearly,
So
the part I loved about that was I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my light. How he said, "Oh, you couldn't just own a cannon." You could.
I know people that own cannons, Joe.
Yeah.
Could then, can now.
Right.
They're unregulated because they're black powder. They're not firearms.
Right.
They're not destructive devices. They're primitive. But
I mean, this is the guy who was like, just shoot 2 blasts with your shotgun to
just
scare
fire through the door.
Okay, that's legal.
You can even buy cannons online.
Really?
You make your own.
Yeah.
I know people that have made their own.
And have them shipped to your house.
As long as you're not pointing at me, I'm
But just,
good.
It doesn't matter. It
Right.
doesn't matter. It'll be unquestioned.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because we have, we do not have a press. We have a propaganda arm.
Well, that's true.
So, nobody's, and, the fact that Biden basically said what Eric Swalwell said. Which is,
basically.
Better be prepared to use nukes. And again, nobody is bringing up the contrast between an unarmed bunch of frat boys was an insurrection. They almost overthrew the government. Right. Oh, you'd need F-15s and nukes to overthrow the government. You literally could not get more opposed.
Right.
You had in the grand scheme of things, small group of people disobeying, the rules.
They were trespassing.
Trespassing, exactly. It's, not good.
Were they trespassing?
Were they, though?
Public building.
They
were not supposed to take the podium.
If the door was open and they were shown their way inside, were they trespassing?
Let's just say, okay, trespassing.
Worst case trespassing.
Exactly.
Sure.
And that we've heard nothing but insurrection for 5 months now. Right. 5.5 months now. It was an insurrection. The worst thing since September 11th. Worse than September 11th.
Yeah.
And then, poof. Oh, you'd need nuclear weapons to overthrow the government. Well, then I guess it wasn't a fucking insurrection, was it?
Right.
And nobody is like, excuse me, Mr. President. How do you reconcile that with the worst thing since September 11th?
That was then. This is now.
Yeah. Let's.
He doesn't remember saying it, so
And honestly, whatever somebody said yesterday doesn't matter anyway. It's what they're saying now that is the only thing that matters. History started 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that history began this morning is actually too late.
Everything is a soundbite. It's
Joe doesn't remember this morning, so history began 2 minutes ago.
But that's Joe. And then it's just little things like Kamala Harris all of a sudden magically is going to the border. Why? Did they have a change of heart? Oh no. Donald Trump said he's going. Which
got to get there before Trump.
is
Did you notice?
interesting because he's no longer on any social media platform. So how did they know? But, you know, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've got, you know, liberal friends who are like, someday they're going to find mass graves there. And I'm like, oh, first of all, no, they're not.
Mass graves where?
On the border. Because, yes, we're massacring.
We are.
Yes, of course. Because the United States is horrible.
We aren't. The cartels are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll be on our side.
Yeah, if there's mass graves, it's because some drug dealers buried some people there.
Yeah.
And also there are people dying of exposure out in the desert because they can't make it. They can't make it.
But the thing is those people don't get graves. They just go left where they are.
Yeah. But the people who are working the border in Texas, that's the one thing they're asking for the most is body bags. Because there's so many people they're finding dead trying to come to this country.
Yep.
And why is that? Could it be, I don't know, we had a president come in and say, all the things we were doing to stop people from coming in, forget it. Just get here. Just drag your kid across the line and you're in.
Even if it's not your kid.
Right.
Drag a kid.
Child. We don't care.
Just grab some kid.
Yeah, we don't care if it's a sack of flour.
Buy a kid from
there you go.
Tijuana. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, kid rentals. That's going to be a business. Think about it.
It is a business.
Well,
already. That's what they do. That's human trafficking.
Rent a kid.
They're doing it.
Rent a kid, get across the border.
Yeah, and dump them. That's what that is literally what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
How much for the children?
Yeah.
Sell me your children.
And the parents buy into it thinking if I send my kid across,
right,
the kid will have my information and they'll bring me to the United States to take care of my kid.
Right.
Yep.
No. That's not what happens.
But
anyway,
you can't build a wall. That would be xenophobic and misogynist and throw whatever else in.
Except Governor Abbott's building a wall. Texas is building a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Walls don't work except when they're around the Capitol, and then they do.
Yeah, right.
So so that's the big Texas is building, and it's going to be interesting because I'm sure somebody will sue to stop Texas from building a wall, but
who?
Somebody, some liberal will do it. Some liberal somewhere will sue to stop it, but it's like I'm not sure. I mean, of course, given our Supreme Court, they'll come up with some reason to make it illegal or ignore it or whatever. But if the state of Texas can buy land and build a wall, they can do it wherever they want.
Sure.
They
could build it. They could build it between Texas and
California?
Louisiana, or Texas and New Mexico,
wouldn't it be more likely to be between Texas and Oklahoma?
Yeah.
But why a wall? Why not a moat? Let's get classy here.
We already have a moat on the south border, Jay, and it doesn't work.
It's because you don't have enough piranha. Duh.
That's true. Not enough alligators. Yeah. Although we do have the floating red ant balls, fire ant balls. So,
I would rather an alligator.
Yeah, that's at least quick.
Oh God. Thanks for the reminder of those horrid. Oh my God, those are a nightmare.
Yeah.
Thousands of little tiny fiery needles.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
And they're all like floating along.
Yeah.
Just give me a giant block of diazonon. I'm just like, nope.
Oh God.
I will chemical right the hell out of this.
Yeah.
Napalm, sure.
Forget it. So,
Jay,
what'd you do last week, Jay?
This and that.
We want to hear an update.
An update.
Well, your photos look very exciting and fun.
It was a wonderful, wonderful time.
Cool.
And it was a work trip, so I'll be writing about it somewhere. Yep, that was a work trip.
Wow.
So I spent last week out in South Dakota and Wyoming, There's a group of industry folks who are motorcycle enthusiasts, and every year they get together and there's some shooting and motorcycling. We shoot in the morning, ride in the afternoon. So first day we shot trap, which I am absolutely horrible at. I'm of the opinion that give me a shotgun with a bayonet and I'll stab the fuckers when they hit the ground. And then we went to Deadwood and Sturgis.
Cool.
Because I wanted to go to Sturgis because, well, I've been to Laconia, where there's like 3 big motorcycle weekends in Laconia, New Hampshire, Daytona Beach, Florida, and Sturgis, South Dakota. And we were like 20 miles from Sturgis. So we did that trip on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we went to Mount Rushmore, which, when I posted the picture, somebody commented that it's smaller in person, and it really is. I mean, it's a
mountain.
It's a perspective thing. You always see the busts close, so they look like 3,000 feet tall,
right?
And then you see them live, and
they're way over there.
They're way over there, and it's actually a much smaller percentage of the mountain, if you will. Huh. I always just imagined it was like the entire mountain was carved, and it's not. It's a small portion of it. But it's very cool. It's very national parky. It's free to get in, but you have to pay $10 per vehicle, which they count each motorcycle as one vehicle, which is kind of bullshit, because we take up 4 bikes in one parking spot here, folks. There should be a discount, but that's my platform. But we did Mount Rushmore, and there's some absolutely amazing riding around Mount Rushmore. It's all switchbacks and uphill and downhill and narrow roads, and it was not something. Well, I've done it around Laconia on the Harley, and I had a Yamaha Tenere 700, which is like an adventure sport, like a dirt bike, a street legal dirt bike. That's a lot lighter, but with a different center of gravity. Obviously, since it's meant for off-road, it's higher up. You have more ground clearance. So it took a little getting used to, but it was still just incredibly fun. And then Thursday we did Devil's Tower, which everyone knows from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's where the aliens are.
Oh yeah, with the mashed potatoes.
Yes,
right.
The mashed potatoes and the giant Simon pew 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 pew.
So since you brought it up, I'm gonna digress for a minute.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Anybody else try this with the mashed potatoes? You see him in the movie, he builds this tower, and it looks like Devil's Tower out of mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
You can't actually do that with mashed potatoes. They slump. You can't build a tower with mashed potatoes.
Well, of course not. You got to make toast and use those as like a concrete foundation and kind of sandwich, and you have to shore it up and use you have to use
I'm wondering,
celery rebar.
I don't know. Maybe if you
it's Hollywood, Ellen. They get literally everything wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, proceed.
So, that's pretty much it. There, on the way back from Devil's Tower.
How long? Real quick. How long of a drive was it from home to there?
Oh, I flew.
Oh, you.
Oh yeah. It's like.
Oh, what motorcycle did you ride then?
It was the Yamaha Tenere. It was one of the Yamaha reps came up from California with several.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't your bike. I was trying to figure out
was not my bike. If it were closer, I would have ridden the Harley. But
Jay did the iron butt challenge.
I was about to say
it's like 2 iron butts, and South Dakota is a fair hike from Virginia.
Because I was thinking, I saw your posts on Facebook that you were there, and then like the next day you were home. I'm like,
yep.
How did he do that on his motorcycle?
Yes. No,
okay.
I'm not that hardcore. I'm not that hardcore. And some of the other guys, they trailered their bikes out, and I thought about it, but it's, even driving, that's a haul.
Yeah.
That's a too solid. It's like 2 12-hour days, and would involve renting a trailer, and I just we managed to set things up to have a couple of rentals, so that was really nice. Really nice. I guess there's some pretty awesome pictures.
Holy crap! I'm sorry.
What?
I just looked at the drive from where I live to Mount Rushmore, and well, let's just say it goes through some of the most boring, flattest.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
From Houston up to Dallas through Oklahoma City. Oklahoma's not bad, but then we go into Kansas and Nebraska, which has got to be flattest. I mean, it gives Houston, competition for the flatness award.
Yeah. And South Dakota and Wyoming are absolutely just amazing. And I have to remind myself that, yes, in June it is gorgeous and beautiful, and talk to me in February. When they put up lights to warn you that parts of Interstate 90 is closed. Now, Interstate 90, I mean, if you don't know, that's like the major east-west corridor.
Right.
In the even mid-central,
the northern
United
part of the
States.
country.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess what 10 would be the southern, right?
Right.
But 90 it goes from Boston, Massachusetts to Northern California, or is it Washington?
Yeah,
I think it's Washington. But basically the top third of the country.
Like I-90?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live on I-90.
Yeah. And I was 45 minutes from an hour from 90 when I lived in Mass.
Right.
But they close there are signs, when flashing I-90 closed, exit next exit. Now, okay, it might be high winds, but I'm guessing it's also snow. Lots of snow. Tons of snow.
I used to work for a company that owned a bunch of towers up in that part of the country, and they had they spent the summer preparing for the winter. They'd have diesel tanks, and because there were times when you'd go 3 or 4 weeks without being able to access the site. So the site had to run, and they'd lose power and all this kind of stuff. And so they had a lot of those towers, they don't really even have power. They're just fed by generator all the time.
Yeah. Is there like one dude who lives out there and just makes sure everything's running?
Well, there's one dude that lives like 100 miles away, and he's got 3 or 4 towers to take care of. And, he pulls a gooseneck with a big old snowcat on it. And I've seen the pictures. The snowcats, the top of the snow is 20 feet higher than the roof of the snowcat, and so it's, winter's out there, not something to mess around with. It'd be a nice summer home spot.
Right. But again, it's you see it and you're like, oh, it's beautiful out here, and you've got these giant rolling hills, and it's all green and gorgeous, and you start thinking like, wow, it'd kind of be nice, you could pick up 10 20 acres dirt cheap, and then go, because you can't see it for half the year.
Right. Yeah, all those millionaires in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, they don't live there in the winter.
They're not there from probably September to May,
right,
or maybe late April, depending on. Well, but then again, global warming, that should be fixed, right?
No.
Speaking of global warming, we haven't
ask Breda about that.
We haven't heard anything from Greta Thunberg recently, have we?
She's kind of out of favor now, don't you think?
Just flung off the planet. Gone.
I will remind you of what were they? The pink something or other? Code Pink. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how when Obama got elected, Code Pink disappeared? Because they were irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then they never came back with Trump because Trump never started a war. So where are they now?
Well, they spent 8 years being irrelevant. After that, you really can't come back.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Greta Thunberg's the same way. She was relevant when they could use her as a tool against Trump.
Right.
Now there's no point. Shut up, kid. Go away.
And with gas prices already 50% higher, and fuck you, Facebook, for your fact checked. Oh, Joe Biden really is responsible.
I know. I saw that.
Well, it's funny because
it's a weird fact check.
We just spent 4 years hearing how literally everything bad in the world is the president's fault.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
But history began 10 seconds ago. So, no, the president has nothing to do with gas prices. Really interesting. Even when they do things like, stop pipelines and shut down, refineries.
I just want to know when CMP is going to start selling those surplus F-15s.
Surplus F-15s. Yeah, I've seen some of the surplus government vehicles. I don't know if I'd want to fly in one.
Hey, surplus nuke.
I've seen some of the surplus.
I picked up a Minuteman III for $15 at a government auction.
$129.95.
It'd be at that weird table at the gun show,
right?
Next to the beef jerky.
And the real estate guy pitching the survival. The silo survival things. Only now you can get it with the nuclear missile.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't even have to take the nuke out.
Right.
Oh, Lord. Nobody knows what we're talking about because you didn't talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Our illustrious president's comments about how, you'd need a nuke. If some F-15s and nukes to take on the government.
Right.
Meanwhile, didn't we just?
Yeah.
Aren't we withdrawing troops from Afghanistan after? Hold on. About 20 years. And it was maybe a stalemate. Maybe
20 years of roadside bombs that are wired up with coat hangers and duct tape and bullshit. That
illiterate goat herders and. But hey. Again,
for Joe Biden to say this, not only it comes across as a threat, don't you dare try anything because we have nuclear bombs, we can bomb you. Did I say nuclear?
That's right.
Whatever. I have a headache. Anyway, but on another level, he's basically making fun of the Second Amendment. He's basically mocking the Bill of Rights.
And at the same time,
and he could say this about any of the amendments. Don't you bother with your First Amendment rights because we could just nuke you. We could just obliterate your entire hometown.
Yeah, you could assemble and we could send in a bunch of troops with machine guns to stop you. Or I don't know, roll a bunch of tanks through the square.
And at the same time, making it perfectly clear why the Second Amendment is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that reason.
It's
we're
not about hunting.
No.
and the thing that Joe, just like every armchair general, never understands is, airplanes flying in the sky don't win wars. It's troops and boots on the ground that wins war. If you can't occupy the territory, you didn't win the war. So, and how many hunters are there in the U.S.?
Lots.
At
least 30 or 40.
Yeah.
There's maybe 10 million, give or take, roughly.
Somebody ran the numbers, and I think Pennsylvania has more hunting licenses than we have soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen.
Oh yeah, but nationwide, the number of people who are let's just say active hunters. Let's say people who have gone out and actually used a rifle and killed a deer or a pig or whatever. Right? It's got to be in the millions. Easily the largest armed force in the world.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry, but
this is a good time to segue into my deer story.
Yes, it's an excellent time to segue.
Speaking
of deer hunting.
Yeah.
I shot my deer friend in my backyard with my BB gun. With my Red Ryder BB gun.
Is it actually a Red Ryder?
It is actually a Red Ryder.
That's awesome.
I bought it for Mike for Christmas some years ago just because I thought it was funny. And it was like, what?
Did he shoot his eye out?
He did not. And nor did I. But yeah, I bought it for Christmas because it was like $20 at Walmart, and I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And he finally bought BBs for it like this year, and so we've been having a deer problem where this mama deer will come in and eat from our bird feeder, and we used to have the bird feeder like right behind me, outside the bay window, and one morning I was home and I opened up the window and I looked, and there she is, like in my backyard, like hoovering out of the bird feeder. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was yelling at her, and she wouldn't run away until I like banged my arm on the siding. Oh God, I don't know if they're dumb or if they just don't care. They have no predators around here.
Free food. That's
yeah. They just So I was really mad at this deer, and I was thinking, because I have a big garden of, tomatoes and vegetables and stuff out there. I don't want the deer coming in and eat my hard work. So Mike brought down the BB gun, and he's like, okay, well, maybe you should shoot the deer in the butt with the BB gun. Sure enough, I was out last week? Week before? I don't know. But I was outside gardening, and I heard this weird sound. And I turned around, and you know what? Here's the thing. And I turned around and I didn't see the deer immediately. And I don't know what it is with deer, but it's like, maybe it's the color where it blends in with the natural surroundings really well, or your brain isn't ready to see it. Or it was like, I was looking directly at it, but my brain didn't like register the deer. It took me a second. And then I was like, oh shit, the deer is eating the bird feeder. And so I ran like full force. I ran yelling at the deer, straight at the deer. And she just stood there and like looked at me like, and I was literally like 4 feet from her, and she would not move.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, it's on now.
Hunting with cinder blocks.
I know. I could literally just
brained it with a Louisville Slugger.
Oh my God. So I ran in the house, and the BB gun was on the porch, and I ran in and I cocked the BB gun and I ran back out. And by this time she had like kind of walked away, and her butt was facing me. And I was like, yep, here we go. And I shot the deer in the butt, and boy, it must have hurt her because she jumped and she ran away. So
good.
She hasn't been back. Yay me. I feel like triumphant, but she must come back like at some point during the night or something, because all of my daylilies are topped off. Whatever. Daylilies, I don't care. Tomatoes, I care about.
Venison jerky. I'm just saying.
I know, right? It'd be like just my luck that the neighbor would come home just as I'm like out there with the BB gun shooting the deer in her backyard.
Is it specifically illegal to kill a deer in your yard?
Yes. Well,
he's coming right for us.
I mean,
if you get caught, no.
I mean, not with a gun. Assuming you had a legal hunting license.
Yeah, and it was deer season, which it is not.
Okay. Right. Well, that would be a problem.
What
about self-defense?
No.
Deer, you laugh, but deer
no, they can't attack you. It's coming right at me.
It's coming right for us.
I don't think so.
Get out there with your spear.
I don't think the standard ground laws like apply to deer.
You need a halberd. We actually in Northern Virginia had such a deer problem that they were like, you all want to hunt with bows, go right ahead.
Yeah, there actually are
subdivision.
there are some suburbs in Cleveland, like around Cleveland, where the deer problem is so bad that they let you, crossbow or whatever, take a deer.
I have a crossbow. I'm just saying.
Well, I don't think Willoughby is one of those suburbs.
Should be.
Take out a deer. Get me a deer tag, and
you could get you one of those spears.
They're small.
They just stand there. I mean, you could totally.
They're little. They're like the size of dogs.
Yeah.
It's like coming from New England, where they're like enormous.
Yeah.
I hit one up in New England.
Oh no!
Like the shoulders came up over the hood of my Dodge pickup. That's how big this deer was.
Yeah.
And the ones down here, they're like dogs. It's like it's a shepherd. That's not a. It is a deer.
They're pretty small in Pennsylvania too. I remember I was hiking through the woods at where was it, Mount Vernon? It was some place I was walking trails, and there was like a little flock of like 4 or 5 deer kind of standing there, and they were like run. They looked like just small to me.
Well, they could have just been small, young deer,
Well,
it takes them a while to get big.
Yeah, but they were, I don't know, I've seen bigger deer even in Texas. And the deer in Texas aren't that big.
It's like your squirrels.
I thought everything was bigger in Texas, Alan.
Well, I don't know.
You guys should have deer the size of giraffe. They're just kind of stomping around.
We have giraffes the size of giraffes.
Giraffes.
What? That's the fun thing about Texas is the climate is in a lot of parts of Texas is very, very much like Africa. So there's a lot of people that will bring in like African game and raise it for hunting on their land in Texas.
Do you have hippos? Are there Texas hippos?
I don't know if anybody has hippos, but people have like those gazelles and all those weird kind of
Urdu and
those freaky kind of
strybok with the Q horns and all I know is I was watching Top Gear and they had a special where they went down to South America, and apparently there was one of the cartel leaders who brought in hippos to guard his property.
Well, that's a good idea.
They finally captured him and put him in jail. His last act was to just release the hippos into the wild. So somewhere in Colombia, there's wild hippos.
Nice.
Wait, huh? South America is not Africa. How'd you get hippos? And that's why. Drug dealers. Drugs are bad, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
People go hunting for those, like, the gazelle with the horns and stuff, because they look cool on the wall, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I've never seen like a taxidermied hippo head.
Too big.
Is it?
They're huge.
Taxidermy is very pricey.
Plus, honestly, hippos really don't look that good.
Yeah.
They're not very.
I gotta look it up now.
You look at a hippo, you're kind of like, it's not that good. They don't do elephant heads either.
What is it called?
Taxidermy?
No, like mount. The specific mount. Thank you.
I know you don't do European mounts for hippos because they don't have horns.
Whole different. Well, different definition from mountain deer.
I knew that's where this was headed.
Why?
Oh,
why?
Dear God. Rule 34. Why? That's why, Breda.
Well, it exists.
You're stuck with reprobates, Breda. Sorry.
I know.
We killed Alan.
I don't. Okay.
I'm sure someone somewhere has taxidermied a hippo.
There you go. Ooh, it's like it's coming up out of the water. That's cool.
It's not on the wall, but
taken out of context, it looks like one of the sandworms from Dune, or perhaps one of the from Tremors.
Yeah.
Wait, here's a better angle.
The graboids.
Graboids. Thank you. I couldn't.
Here's a better angle. Right there.
Good Lord.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Imagine that thing coming up out of the water at you.
if I was going to hunt that, I would want something in the belt-fed or perhaps
Right.
explosive variety.
Yeah, 50 caliber is way too small.
I want 30 millimeters. What I want a Vulcan minigun. Thank you very much.
One of those explosive grenade,
or
the grenade launcher thing.
A nuke.
A nuke.
There you go.
Be raining cooked hippo burgers.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Well, somebody pointed out that in a nuclear blast, there's going to be some distance from the blast where all of the frozen pizzas in a supermarket will be perfectly cooked.
Oh,
that's true.
True.
Yep.
You know, just you got to find that distance and just wait.
Well, you know, it's like it's one of those things that's like, you know, people are like, oh my God, private ownership of nuclear weapons. Oh, it's awful. How could that happen?
It's not cheap. The people that would own them are
not cheap. It's not cheap now.
Okay.
But Elon Musk could build a nuclear bomb. And he has the rockets to deliver them anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah, true.
Or anywhere in the world.
One hollowed out volcano lair away from being a bomb villain.
Yeah, that's exactly. So, but you know, technology, things get cheaper, you know, inevitably
needs a cat.
Now that he's gotten away, now he's gotten rid of John McAfee.
Aha.
But eventually people, private citizens will own nuclear weapons. It's inevitable.
Okay.
Then
what?
Well, it's like 3D printed guns. I mean, the technology will exist.
But like, and then what?
I'd rather have a small reactor for my car, like in Back to the Future.
And somebody will use them.
Well, sure. But like in the arms race of the people versus the government, what will the government do then?
Nothing. Well, what can they do?
Most people don't have RPGs,
they'll do something.
Alan.
What?
People don't have RPGs as a general rule. And those are like cheaper than dirt everywhere outside of the US.
Yeah, but they're not that useful though.
Well, neither are nukes.
It's like machine guns. They're just not that useful.
I always want a rocket propelled grenade when that car drives down the street at like 11:30 p.m.
Right.
Blast in the rap music with the bass. I just have this fantasy.
I understand why explosives are so highly regulated. I'm going to just say that.
But here's the thing. It's one of those things that's like it only keeps the honest people from having them. Because as you say, they're cheap.
Okay.
If you want an RPG, you can get one. If obeying the law was not your consideration and you wanted an RPG, you could get an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
If obeying the law was not a consideration and you wanted a machine gun, you could get a machine gun.
Yeah.
And eventually you will be able to find a nuclear weapon that you could do the same thing with.
I'm not sure that's true, Alan.
It is true.
Because I don't see that there's a market for nuclear weapons.
Sure there is.
For personal use?
Sure. Why not?
Alan wants one.
You could say the same thing about machine guns and RPGs.
Well, yes and no.
It doesn't. All it takes is a few more governmental collapses, and the world will be flooded with cheap nuclear weapons.
It's going to be like Mad Max.
There's a point.
They'll be selling them off. They'll be selling. I mean, one of the biggest problems with the collapse of the Soviet Unions, and one of the biggest fears they had, was keeping control of the nuclear weapons, and a lot of them skipped out because they got sold off by the army group that was guarding them.
Right. I wonder how long they stay viable. Are there people hoarding these nuclear weapons that you just have a giant hunk of metal?
What you have to do is reprocess them and rebuild them. So you can't, And that's what the U.S. does with their warheads all the time. There's a steady industry of you take the old warhead off at once it's hit its expiration date. You take the warhead, you dismantle the warhead, swap it out with a new one, whatever, and then you take the old one back to Pantex or wherever, and they take the nuclear materials out. They get rid of the old shit. They take that plutonium or uranium or whatever it is, and they reprocess it and build a new bomb out of it. And that has to happen every, so often. So they don't last forever. Especially the hydrogen bombs, believe it or not. The hydrogen bombs are even worse than the regular nuclear bombs because the helium isotopes they use decay a lot quicker. So,
see, folks, you learned something.
That's right. So, but yeah, they have expiration dates. But then at the same time, one of the other fears is and one of the reasons they keep track of like hospital radiological stuff is why they control that so quick. Is there's a fear that if somebody could collect enough of that stuff, they could build a dirty bomb.
Oh,
wasn't there a case years and years ago where a Boy Scout actually built
yes.
like a functioning nuclear device out of, it was like the mercury or the insides of like thermometer, not thermometer,
smoke detectors.
Yes.
Really?
Smoke detectors. Yeah.
Like just tiny amounts. And if you pile up enough.
That's the story. I don't know if it's true or not, but
maybe apocryphal.
The thing is, it's easy to build a nuclear bomb. The plans are available everywhere on the internet. The problem is refining the nuclear material to do it,
and a delivery system.
Well, the delivery system can be a suitcase or a shipping container. That's we're talking IED style, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the big fear about Iran. So Iran, the reason the Israelis keep blowing shit up in Iran is because they're destroying the centrifuges that they're using to process the uranium.
No, it's totally accidents.
They're not balancing the centrifuges properly. That's what it
accidents.
is.
So that's the hard part is getting,
nobody knows how that happens.
It's a mystery. It's the damnedest thing.
It's not a mystery at all.
It's the damnedest thing. Who knew?
It's not the U.S. over there blowing the shit up. It's the Israelis.
I just think somebody pushed the wrong button and stuff.
But the thing is, the minute Iran gets a functioning nuclear warhead, they already have rockets.
Sure.
Israel's toast, and they know it. So Israel's attitude is, fuck you and your Iran deal. We're going to keep.
If anything, Israel is being very patient.
Israel is not toast. Iran is toast.
Yeah, that's
because they use a nuke against Israel. Yeah. They cease to be.
Well, Israel has nukes. And they will, if it comes to the point where they think Iran's about to launch, Iran will be glass. Because,
we can drill through glass. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Again, I'd be very patient.
I'd like to have 99 cent per gallon gasoline again.
Yes.
Just have to get the Democrats out of the White House, Jay, and you can have it.
Well, we tried.
We'll get a bunch of frat boys to go steal a podium, and that'll be an insurrection.
Yep.
Anywho, now that we're kicked off of Facebook. No, wait, we haven't talked about COVID.
We haven't talked about COVID at all. Facebook's not going to kick us off.
Well, did you see the study that just came out this week? I'm going to push the envelope here.
Uh-oh.
Saying that there was no difference in states that were heavy masking and states that didn't mask.
Right.
Oh,
masking doesn't matter.
You know how I knew that was a thing? Was the top thing trending on Twitter was experts say masks do stop the spread of COVID. I'm like, guys, cut the shit.
No.
We're through pretending that this is a thing. Biden won.
Right.
Or, well, Biden's in office.
Close enough.
I wouldn't say won, but he's in office, so COVID stopped. He defeated COVID. There you go. Yay, Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe.
He's still wearing a mask, like in weird for weird
Shows up in
reasons.
video conferences. Yeah.
That's so you can't see that his mouth doesn't move in sync with his words.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it.
They can't match up the lip syncing. Their software's just not that good.
Have you seen the thing where he whispers into the mic?
Is that when he's checking out the 5-year-olds?
No. He's like lately he's been like whispering into the mic, like he's talking like I'm telling you some kind of secret.
Well,
he's been doing that.
Get in trouble for this. I'm going to get in trouble for this.
As hell.
Yeah.
Like Joe Biden, you're fucking president. You're not going to get in trouble for anything.
Oh yes, he will.
Okay.
Yeah, he will, because Dr. Jill won't give him his pudding after supper.
He's gonna hide his Jello pudding.
Spank.
Yeah.
She does like fishnets. Just saying.
Ugh.
Again, Rule 34. I'm
Stop it.
We've horrified poor Breda.
It's just.
Yeah. Again, Rand Paul, but Dr. Jill Biden.
Right.
Yep.
Dr. Jill.
Ben Carson, Dr. Jill Biden.
Yeah, Ben Carson is actual. Yeah. Jeez.
But
it's just. I'd like to think that the majority. Well, okay. First of all, I like to think that the majority of people aren't buying their bullshit. However, I am deeply and painfully aware that the majority of people are not paying attention.
Yep.
And they see the blurb and it's just they're inventing reality. Social media and headlines and
your clickbait, and that's all people do.
Yeah.
Is they read the headline. It doesn't matter what's in the body. It doesn't matter if what's in the body of the story completely contradicts the headline.
Right. Oh,
doesn't matter.
Sure.
It's bumper sticker theology.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter anymore if they're completely fabricating everything.
And they'll come out later on and explain.
Yeah.
They'll tell you.
They clarify, or they
Well, yeah,
do the sneaky edits like months after the fact.
Years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, we found out that that it never really happened. What was there were a whole bunch of things recently. It just came out. Well, no, it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the Trump had a bunch of protesters. They fired rubber bullets and this and that. It was like, no, actually, they were constructing a fence that had absolutely nothing to do with Trump's speech.
Yeah.
Okay, it was what, 8 months later?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, by the way,
the whole second, the first and the second, whatchamacallit, Trump. Please help me. I'm drawing a blank.
The presidency?
Impeachment.
Impeachment, yes.
Both impeachments were based on complete fabrications.
Right.
Yeah.
That still exists in most people's mind as the truth.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's crazy times we're living in. It really is. Yes.
I want before we do
I have nothing for show and tell. I'm sorry.
All right. Anyway, what I wanted to mention was, have you been following this Chinese defector?
I would like to follow it.
It would involve having Twitter.
Well, no, it's just I'm gonna wait on that. Like I'm kind of following it, but I'm waiting.
Well, the story is he's a high level.
Yeah, the story is
high level Chinese defector that was part of their military,
sure, counterintelligence, blah blah blah,
something like that, right? And he came, he defected to the U.S. and he wouldn't talk to the FBI and he wouldn't talk to the CIA,
right?
Because, and this is the way the story goes, because he knows who all the Chinese assets are in the CIA and the FBI.
Sure.
that's the story. So he's
That's
talking
the story.
he's talking to the DIA instead.
The story could also be that he is a spy. He's a plant.
Yeah,
That,
could be.
he's this brave defector and he has all this information, and it could be like counterintelligence, which is what he was known for, counterintelligence. Right. So
well, that's
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see.
That's why they that's why they when they get these guys that come over, they vet them.
Well, but who's vetting them, Alan?
Right.
Yeah, who knows?
The simple fact that we've heard of this guy makes me suspicious.
Me too.
Because if there really was a defector who could shed a light and say, "Oh yeah, you know, the whole COVID-19 thing was actually a biological weapon developed by the Chinese using American money funneled by Fossey."
Right.
I mean, nothing's going to happen because there's never any consequences for the left, but it's going to energize the right to the nth degree.
Right.
And we're getting to the point where 2022 is starting to be within reach, which does make it puzzling why Biden is so hell-bent on gun control.
Well,
because that's the kind of thing that motivates one side but not the other, and he hasn't done jack shit for the radical left. So you're energizing your opponents while you're energizing your opponents while letting your base down.
Hi, Cosmo.
And we've got cat cam, so never mind.
Yep.
That's cute. Your assistant.
Assistant. That is Dr. Cosmo. Thank you very much.
Dr. Cosmo.
That's right.
Cat.
Dr. Cosmo.
Uh-oh.
Fortunately,
right.
he doesn't have any teeth.
Yeah. I think your cord is safe.
He'll gum your cord apart.
I guess we know what Alan's show and tell is.
That's my show and tell.
His shorts.
The cat cam.
The cat cam.
Yes. Cat cam.
Wonder if I can get the cat cam. There we go.
Hey.
Ronk. He's trying to
headbutting the camera.
Oh well.
Help me, camera.
Aw. Oh, he wants attention.
Yeah.
What's new?
I'm going to strut now. I love you, chair.
No.
I love you, camera.
No, that's you're mine.
This is mine. This is mine.
Mine,
Yeah.
mine.
All right. That's enough.
Well, that was fun.
Very nice.
Breda doesn't have a show and tell. Jay, do you have a show and tell?
Of course I have a show and tell.
I'll have one next week. I just didn't think of it.
I have a very, let's just say, it is fitting with my ethnicity.
Okay.
Hey.
It's a CRKT shrill.
Wow.
This
That's
is
nice.
Scary looking.
Yeah, this is very nice, good size, double-edged, nice, sharp, pointy point. If I can get my camera right, which I can't because I have a real hard time with the reverse. But it is this is nice. It's got a like vintage 1970s gas station leather sheath. But
Oh, that's nice. Does that have a clip on it for like a boot clip?
Yeah.
sure does.
Okay, good.
Sure does. Got a little
I like
cutout.
what is that stuff called on the
G10.
micarta? Micarta?
I
No.
think this is actually G10, but
Is it?
looks like it might be
Looks good.
micarta.
You know that's stuff I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. It's really nice and grippy.
It is. It is.
I mean, it looks cool, but it's also pretty grippy.
You know, not saying you should, but you know,
You should not.
this is a very useful little thing for opening letters, of course. That's all I would
Right.
recommend. But you know, it's basically a shiv. So on that note, We've had cat cams and shivs. Yes.
There you go.
We know who let the Italian in.
Well, we kind of have like a family announcement. It's kind of a big day today. Mike is gonna get mad at me.
Oh boy.
What?
Mike got his first iPhone.
Ah!
And
Wow. Welcome to the 21st century.
Welcome to 2008.
I love Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is kind and generous. Steve Jobs has the truth and the light.
he's in the cult now. But the reason Mike has been using a flip phone since forever.
Works for Bob.
Yeah, it works fine. It was kind of not working so great. Anyway, so I was getting these emails from AT&T, and they were saying now that they're switching over to the 4G or whatever, you have to get a new phone to work with the 4G.
All those old phones are going to stop working.
Yeah, and so they said, "Oh, we're going to be sending you a phone just like the one that you have now." And I was like, "Oh no, you don't." I was like, "He is not getting another flip phone." No.
It's a 5G flip phone. I love it.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't going to happen. So
it's a Model T with a thermonuclear reactor.
That'd be cool.
Oh man, I went to the AT&T store today, and I walk in, and the guy's like, "Well, what can I help you with?" And I said, "Well, my husband needs an iPhone." I said, "I'm getting my husband an iPhone." He says, "Does your husband know you're getting him an iPhone?" I said, "Well, I think so."
He will know.
He will. And I said, "I don't need anything fancy. We're going from a flip phone to an iPhone. So just give me the cheapest one you have." So that's what we got. And it still has the button, still has the home button.
Oh, nice.
Doesn't have the face recognition thing, which is good.
I think that's an improvement.
Was the SIM card on the flip phone actually made out of stone?
An engraved tablet.
Do you consider silicon stone?
Yeah. So
I was thinking granite.
So we did that. But he came home today, and I'm out in the backyard. I'm watering the plants, and he comes home and he's like, "Well, I stopped at the grocery store on the way home, and I tried to call you." I was like, "Oh, really? What happened?" My phone didn't work, and I got some strange message about it was only going to make emergency calls from now on. And I was like, "Oh, that's terrible." I was like, "I wonder why that happened." He's like, "I don't know." He's acting like, "Well, maybe we should probably do something about my phone." I was like,
Surprise,
your new phone. But turns out the iPhone was free.
Nice.
Because of the whole, like, we're going to send you a free phone thing. And I asked the guy, I was like, "We don't have to get the flip phone." He says, "No, just an older iPhone is fine. So you have to switch over. You can get a free."
Got piles of them.
Yeah, probably. He probably does.
Yeah.
So,
Yay!
So I introduced Mike to the magic of like sharing contacts. I could just
airdrop. Are you airdropping things now?
Yeah.
Instead of like emailing it to Mike and he has to download it. Wait for the magic smoke to put it on his flip phone.
I had to set up his phone for him just so he didn't have to think about it. So that was a big day.
Very cool.
It is a big day.
So you did have a show and tell. Or it was more tell.
Now the question is, how long will it continue to function?
Yeah.
Do they make a Faraday cage?
I know.
For the iPhone.
We'll see.
Did you get him a rugged case to put it in?
Not yet. I just got him like a little silicone case. Okay. Do you have a case on your phone, Jay?
I do. I have an OtterBox.
Is it like a OtterBox? Okay.
It's like the middle. It's like the Commuter, which is like not the giant Defender that has like it's bulletproof, but I can't do that because mine is actually serving as my camera. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's average. No, I need one that is like Kevlar for my daughter because she's like constantly throwing them. It's like it's a ninja star to her.
Here's your phone.
Yeah. So I broke my case. Like, how did you broke an OtterBox? How did you break an OtterBox? I drove over one for crying out loud. But yeah.
She doesn't know her own strength.
Yeah,
I was looking at OtterBoxes. I don't know. We'll see.
If it's one of the older iPhones, they should be cheap.
Yeah.
Just because everyone's moved on to the next.
It's actually
big
not
thing.
a super old one. It's the SE from from last year.
Yeah.
So it's not that old, but
in iPhone years, that's pretty old.
I still have an iPhone 6. It
Jay.
It will actually power up, believe it. I have a 4. I haven't tried to power it up because it's still the old connector that's this big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I have one somewhere.
Yeah.
But I can't be arsed to plug it in and let it sit for 18 years.
Yeah, this phone, this SE came with a cable that doesn't plug into any of my. Do they change the little thing again?
I don't know. I mean, mine. I've got
is it a USB-C or is it a Lightning?
It doesn't plug into the thing.
What
USB?
Thing?
The USB part doesn't fit. Anyway,
it's USB 1.0. You have to actually find a 486 to plug it in.
Sounds like a USB-C.
Whatever.
Is it a little like an little round oval thing?
I didn't inspect it. It just doesn't fit in the thing. I have extra cords. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Anyway, woo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike.
Yeah.
Golf clap.
Now he can send me cat pictures, which is the most important thing.
That's what the internet is for.
I mean, come on.
Yes.
Did you see, Jay, did you see that Hayden joined us last week?
I did not. I've not had a chance to review
the minutes
of the last
It was
meeting.
great. It was really good.
But thank you, Hayden. I appreciate it.
He did a great job filling in for you.
Definitely classed up the joint. I mean,
he wore a tie.
He wore a tie.
Yes. That may be the first.
I'm not wearing pants.
That may be the first tie that's ever been on the score report.
I think so.
It may be.
I know Alan is pretty much, philosophically opposed to ties.
I have never worn a tie.
I don't like putting a noose around my neck, so go figure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not opposed to a nice cravat, but I'm not even going to put on a tie. Whatever. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
I want one of those ruffled collars.
One of the
the puffy pirate shirts.
Yeah, the Elizabethan, ruffled collars.
Isn't that like what the clown in It has?
I'm going to bring that back.
You're bringing puffy pirate shirts back. All right, Alan. Excuse me.
He's getting ready for the Ren Fair.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
All right. Well, we've clearly we clearly hit the wall.
Yes.
And we'll be back. Wait. What's everybody doing next week? You going to be around?
I'm going to be around.
Next Thursday's the July 1st.
Ah.
Okay.
So, well, it's a holiday weekend. I didn't know if anybody was.
Nope.
Are we doing something?
I'll be here.
All right. We'll be back next week then.
Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel.
That's right. Bye, everybody.
All righty.
Have a good week.